Hi everyone. I hope you all can hear me. We had a little bit of a connectivity issue. Should be good to go any minute. Thank you all.
Hi.
Hi. Is this better?
Yeah, now you're back.
Okay, great. So thank you, Saumil, for joining us. And I'll quickly start this session without any delays. The series is
Sure.
called Let's Talk Design, and we have with us today Saumil Patel from Squelette Design. I hope I've pronounced that right. Uh,
Yeah,
welcome, Saumil. Welcome to our series. Squelette Design was co-founded in 2017 by Saumil and his partner. It's a multidisciplinary design firm that believes in designing the core, the skeleton of the edifice, beautifully and functionally, ultimately magnifying the aesthetics and the elegance of spaces, both ways from inside to the outside and vice versa, leaving an unforgettable imprint in the user's mind. So thank you, Saumil. We are very glad that you're here with us for this series. The topic today, like I said earlier, is trends in materials and interior designs. So my first question
yeah.
to you would be, what are the latest trends, according to you, for using stone in interior as well as exterior spaces?
So before jumping to the stones, what are my perspectives on the latest trends and designing? What I believe is trends are not just the trends which are popular or recurrent. That the trend should be relevant and substantial also, right? So nowadays, what globalization has changed the older concept of cliche design, and it's more on the adaptation and innovations. So, if you talk about the latest trends, if you see some really good work going all around the world, and the play with materials, like the nudging with material geometries, its textures, and everything goes around and becoming a new trends every projects and every single day. So. What I believe is the most nowadays everyone knows about the sustainability of materials and the designings. Also, they know the innovations and how what is original, what is the new. So in this trends, I think the stone, which is if we see the stone, actually stone has been used from centuries. If you see the postmodernism and the eras, they have been used to create a masterpiece of buildings, and that building withstood the taste of time till now. And surprisingly, the stone stand a solid choice for the materials like sustainable and we can say a single entity which also have various ample amounts of textures, qualities, and different shades, typologies, and all. So in these latest trends, what I believe is using a stone in a particular way to follow fit something in this trend. What do you experiment, or what do you do with such materials, or how do you sensibly use such materials in your uh, uh, program or typology? That's all what matters.
Right, right, right.
Also,
That's true.
I would like to tell, yeah, also I would like to tell the ever-shifting technology has just changed the world. So before the time, the stone has some limitations. If you see nowadays, the technology can shift the stones to its like it can deform its form, or you can play around with anything. Like we can go ahead with stone carvings or something in what I believe is when aesthetics and art, when mixed with the technology, that's what create masterpiece.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And taking
Yeah.
off from there, how do you ensure sustainability, when aligning your work with these trends?
So, talking about our practice, sustainability is like esteem for our practice. And what we do is sustainability. What see in your particular designing, you can always have the right choice of materials, the right research on materials. If we see particularly, let's say stone, so stone itself is a very sustainable materials. So if you see the strength, design, its environmental efficiency, or its enduring its recyclability or durability whatsoever, the stone has a key element that is sustain. I can define the stone as a eco credentials.
Right.
So yeah, and if we're just not going with a so depth in the process of how, but if you in research on the insulations that particularly made from stones, so that insulations just have some uh, things that lower down the temperature and makes your buildings more climate friendly, and that puts a key role in your sustainable designs.
Right. Right. Okay. So, you've also spoken about, different typologies, right? You've spoken
Yeah.
about how you look at your projects in different typologies. Can you talk? Can you give us like your top picks for stones that are perfect for each typology? Could you share some examples of that?
Particular my projects.
No, just typology. For example, what stone works very well in residential? What works very well in institutional? What
Okay.
works well in commercial? Yeah.
Okay, so now what I believe is uh, if we see the stones, it has very different, like it has very different properties, like taking you from the limestone to granites, from marbles to travertines, and each of this. So it's better when you design any concept or any project, you keep materials while designing, that would be more helpful to reach your benchmark. So what happens is if we take a choice, like nowadays there are so many if particularly going with like we are not geographically locked nowadays.
Right.
So if we see the earlier, that was the time where only local stones are available or only local materials you can access. Nowadays you can have multiple varieties of stone or multiple varieties of experiments. You can import, export anything, even play around with your particular material or project. So it just for any project like residential or commercial, what makes each stone fit it into is the particular or objective or the particular choice of the designer, and that makes more sense.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very valid point. Uh, we also, we all know that marble is a very versatile material, right?
Hmm.
Could you talk about how the versatility of marble can be explored, in different textures and for different types of spaces? What are the things that one can do?
So if we open up our thought process, and if we think something outside the box, the marbles can be used like from a small piece of object to some very interior like objects or materials or furnitures through the whole building claddings. So it just not having any limitations like from screening to partitions or anything we can, but we are not specifying something related to any product. The use of marble is like, for me, it's like very sensible for as a material palette or as a particular space feeling or designing. When I talk about any particular project, and if you see some of my project which contains the marble, so it just have some experimentation throughout the projects. So that's it. All you put yourself somewhere different. throughout this trends or something that move around your things.
Right. Fair enough. Now, when you're picking up stone for your projects, what are the aspects or points that you consider when you're picking up a particular stone?
See, I'm a very particular about the choices, what I pick for the projects, and like I keep on reaching to that finishes or to that shades what I always desire, and I start keeping on researching about the shades or some of the greatest collaborations or some of the greatest companies of the stones also help us like they keep on updating us about the new shades and new textures and new formations we can do with that stone. So that also help us to make something very unique, very distinctive what are our designs always been through. When I choose particular project or particular theme, I keep keeping the material palette. Then I derive the concept and then I amalgamate the both the things and then I come to the conclusion. So what happens is when I choose something like let's say ki, other stone can be I can like it can be a furniture object or it can be on floor or it can be something on panels or whatsoever. But I majorly look the look importance or majorly go through is its thickness, its textures or its shades or how we can play around like its surfacing or its polishing or something like that that makes the desired finish or desired texture for the particular space.
Right, right. Okay, thank you. That's super useful. My last question to you, before I can, I mean, if the audience has any questions, please drop them in the comment box below. Otherwise, my last question to you is: see, we all know that architecture over the years has evolved, but there's certain trends that that have sort of stayed on. There's certain trends that, especially in stone, that are timeless, that do not change over time. Uh, how would you have anything to say on that? Do you think there are certain trends that we all should stick to, play around with stone, and what has changed and what hasn't?
Yeah, point. If we observe some of our historical monuments also, that all the way started from stone buildings to nowadays, during the contemporary and minimal practice, the usage and the choice of material has been changed. So if we go through the process, like if we have something sandstone or limestone or marble, so earlier it was used as a whole palette or as a whole building or structural members. Nowadays it is more or less used in some kind of aesthetical palettes or luxurious palace. Also, some natural stone which are very useful in making climate friendly building, very ecological architecture. And if you allow me to show you few images, so I can better make you relate to that.
That would be great.
I don't know, Tanya, it's not happening. I don't know, it's not
Never
happening
mind.
here.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes Instagram does give us trouble in presenting stuff. So
Yeah.
don't worry about that. That's fine. So, so what would your sort of final take on that question be?
Hmm?
So, is there
Sorry, I
anything else
didn't
that
hear
you'd
you.
like to say about that last? Is there anything else that you'd
Uh,
like to say about the last question? About the last question.
about the last question. I think we keep on trying, we keep on influencing, or we keep on trying indulging some such materials in our contemporary practice, and we should respect such materials which are very earthen or very natural in that form. And from see, if you change your perspective or how you can use or how you can indulge such materials with your contemporary designs, it will create something very unique product, I believe.
Okay, great. So we have one question from the audience as well. Any suggestions on selecting stones while designing luxury bathrooms?
Okay, so if we talk about the luxury, so when we see particular selection of the stone, that depends on the overall wholesome concept of the project. Like if we cannot define such luxury that only comes from the marble or only comes from the granite, that's on our design typology, how carefully we nurture the space using any subtle stone or any loud stone
Right.
whatsoever. But how beautifully you can play around and how beautifully you can create patterns or palettes, that's all creates the luxury.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, thank you. I think somebody else also asked the same question, so I hope Sumwa that your question is answered. One more question is there from the audience: which is better, marble or limestone?
So nothing is better in comparison of anything. Both of the materials have their own naturality and their own nature. We cannot compare limestone to marble and marble to limestone. So that's very, I think, not valid
Okay,
question.
great. Great. So, if I had to ask you one stone that reflects your personality, what would that be?
Mm, I think that particular stone, which I have used in my one recent project, residential project, which is locally available in Gujarat, that is black Porbandar aesthetical wall from that, and that came out of very excellent.
Okay, great, great. Uh, so, this
Also, talking
series,
about marbles, I
yeah,
love the shades which are in white marbles, like the locally white available marbles or the international.
right. Thank you. Uh, so this series is called Let's Talk Design. If you had to leave our audience with one statement on Let's Talk Design, what would that be?
Uh, I think that would be that every designer should uh, have their own perspective on each materials, and that material should be used carefully. If you are having something original at your version, so that would come out very excellent. So that's how you keep on experimenting, or that's how you keep on trying something new things to create a very unique product.
Great. That is such a nice note to end on. Thank you so much, Saumil. This was very useful. As you know, that A-Class has completed 50 years of being in the industry. And as a thank you gesture for you to be a part of this journey and this campaign, they'll be planting a tree on your behalf. And you'll be getting a
Yeah,
certificate from A-Class. So thank you,
thank you so much.
Saumil.
It
It
was
was a
a
pleasure to
yeah,
speak to you.
it was a great pleasure for me also.
Yeah, and it was a super useful and super insightful conversation. Thank you once again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so